for a minute, to be honest.
Life is one of the guys that actually went toe-to-toe against Parting in his prime, which, like Parting, as we all know, the best timing attacker that Protoss really ever saw against Zerg. So if Life could do that back then, I think he can do it against Stardust here tonight.
Well, we're actually ready to get these two players on the stage and see what their thoughts are before going into this match. Smix, let's bring them out.
Thank you very much, Tasteless. Guys, it is time for our last quarterfinal series to get underway. Let's introduce our players, Life and Stardust. Now, Life, last year at Dreamhack Open Bucharest, you actually made it to the semis and unfortunately lost. How are you feeling about your chances this year at Dreamhack Open Bucharest? 작년 드림하크에서는 그 부카레스트에서는 그 4강까지 가고 탈락했잖아요. 근데 이번 대회에서는 어디까지 갈 자신감이 있나요?
자신감은 모르겠고 일단 게임이 잘 풀린다면 목표는 일단 우승인데 잘 풀리면 갈 수 있을 것 같아요.
So I'm not really sure about my confidence, but I just think as long as my play is able to come out as I want it, then of course my goal is winning the whole thing, but as long as my play comes out properly, then I think I'm very confident in how my games will play out. Now, Stardust, you are the lone Protoss player left in this tournament, and you actually have not played a single Zerg player this whole time. You had a lot of PvPs and a lot of PvTs, but you haven't played a Zerg player yet at this tournament. How are you feeling about your PvZ at the moment?
About PvG? PvG is really hard for Protoss because Jagu have so most. But I know Life don't using so most often, then very well. So I have just try my best, then I hope so getting good result.
All right. Well, best of luck to you guys. Shake hands. Let's get this game underway. Tasteless, take it away.
You know, Smix does make a great point here. There are not actually a lot of Pronosses left here, and he has
not many at all.
Yeah, he has, and
just one. I think it's down to just one.
Our Protoss players had an interesting path of getting here, so this is a really tough challenge now. I mean,
it's the hardest race to play. It's the least successful. It takes the most skill, the most intelligence. It is the chosen path of heroes since the beginning of time. It is.
There's no question about that in Control. And as an avid DT maker yourself, you know how hard it can be to kill your opponent.
And as a guy who hasn't won a game since Brood War, Artosis is aware of what it's like.
Do we have the first map here that these guys are going to be on? I know they're still getting everything set up. I'm really
actually,
interested.
I'd like to just continue to make fun of. No, I'm just kidding. No, we might. I think it's in the lobby here. Let me check.
It's Habitation Station.
Yeah, if you guys are just joining us, it is a best of three.
And overgrowth.
Best of three, a very unforgiving series, especially for a tournament where we're using best of threes pretty late in there. So you said the first map was Habitation Station?
Yes.
What are you two thinking about how this is going to pan out here for Life and Stardust?
Well, this is just the craziest map for these two because Stardust oftentimes a two-baser.
Yeah.
And that means that he might want to take that gold fast, but Life is someone that will love to take that gold base and really just pump out a bunch of roaches and lings and do some funky stuff with it.
I think with these two players, it should be Stardust that kind of dictates the pace. He, like Demuzum said, is very gateway, kind of cheesy oriented. He's fast and furious in that sense. And on Habitation Station, he's actually one of the players that popularized this build where they take that as their natural and do an immortal shove off of it. It'd be interesting to see if he did that.
Demuzum, quick question here. You've had a lot more experience as of late, especially dealing with these players on a competitive level. When you look at Stardust going into this, do you feel like he's got the confidence or are there some nerve issues going on here?
He's a confident guy, and he's unfairly called Cheese Dust just because of the way that he plays. And by that I mean, he isn't just cheesy, he's really good at being cheesy, but he's also very solid with macro builds. We saw him knock out Jadong last. In fact, when did he knock out Jadong? But he won Dreamhack. You don't do that just by being cheesy. You have to be extremely solid too, so I think he's unfairly called that. He's just a really, really good player, but Life, I think he is the favorite still.
All right, we're going to find out how he plays here. This game is now loaded up. whether or not he plays standard or he's a cheese dust or a powdered cheese or however you properly
Sounds delicious,
call that.
no matter how
I
you
just want to call that out here before that game started. Powdered cheese way better than cheese dust. Guys, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Tasteless. That was wonderful. Up in the top right of Habitation Station, make some noise for Stardust. That's life.
His opponent. Are they going to show Stardust? Can't tell. Anyways, top left-hand side playing Zerg. The little boss man himself. Startail Life. And Stardust. Show him. What kind of controller? Yes!
Sick.
There he is.
In
Dreamhack
control, master of the
production, ladies
universe.
and gentlemen. What's that?
Master of the universe in control.
Well, no. I am fortunate enough to be here. Dreamhack is.
Isn't that what they call
He-Man
He-Man, though? I mean, Master of the Universe?
Oh, you're making a He-Man joke.
Yeah, sorry. Before your time.
Someone said that if I lost a little bit of weight, I would look just like He-Man. Joke's on him, though, because He-Man is still frickin' ripped. So if I lose just a little bit of weight, apparently I look just like a super ripped guy. I turned your mean thing into a compliment on Twitter.
Good job in control. All right, so we have a Forged first here from
Across the map! I'm going to interrupt you, and I'm not even going to feel bad about it.
God.
I've never seen this.
This happened once recently in Korea, in
so
Code
cool.
A, I do believe.
Wait, I have seen it. Then they Spinecrawl rush from that, don't
No, it was a Roach all in, actually.
they? Oh, my God.
Where with the proxy hatchery, there are like 1 or 2 drones mining from the gold and going right into that. So this is a crazy strategy, but we were talking about Life being a crazy player in this way.
You can't cannon rush a base that you can't see, Artosis. It is literally foolproof. Does he actually take the other gold base?
He needs 2 gold bases, if you ask me.
If he takes this gold base, there's a good chance I will shit myself.
Oh my God.
Look.
I was just in the bathroom. There's no toilet paper there. We're in trouble.
Hashtag broken promises. I'm not going to shit myself because there's a whole lot more casting to be done, and I don't want to get a rash. But this is still super cool. Now I've officially never seen this.
Well,
Also,
I've definitely
by the
never
way-
seen this. This is wild. But now we have one of the later cannon rushes that you're likely to find well after the Nexus does go up.
Yeah.
But will this end up working? He's making a bunch of Zerglings right now.
You know what I like about this? Stardust should do 2, maybe even 3 cannons here. And I think Life, if he doesn't just outright defend it, let's say he loses it.
Yeah.
That's fine. He's got the backup gold over there. And basically Stardust is spending money on a base that...
That's true. He's spending
need
so
this.
much money here that he's actually spending more than the hatchery.
Yeah. And with the other gold base already being built, that would have been the follow-up choice from Life, but he's already kind of preempted that.
Then, all these cannons are here. You put a tumor in the back, and it's going to be really difficult for him to even remove that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So
it's
Life,
going to be hard to make a Nexus.
As long as he doesn't lose his queen, this is actually an amazing move. No, of course, there's a cannon at the front of the natural. Ooh, don't lose the queen.
Whoa, queen.
God, he's so good. He knew they would have that much health. No, I'm just kidding. But Zerglings can't do anything to Stardust, so he's fine there. But what's just crazy about this is if you look at his vision in the backfield, he does not know about this other gold base. And again, he could probably assume, okay, this cannon rush successful. He'll probably go take the gold. But lo and behold, he already did.
Well, I mean, that's not something you're going to predict, that's for sure.
No.
But maybe he can remove the creep tumors from this queen and eventually get his own gold. The thing is, this is so smart for the creep tumors to actually be spreading because that makes these cannons super useless right now.
Yeah. Give credit where credit's due, by the way.
Why are 2 probes going over here?
Oh, man. And even later cannon rushes for it.
He's like, well, if I have 2, even Zerglings can't stop me.
Yeah. I do like that Stardust ends up finding that base, and while that is a late cannon rush, as we can see, it was a successful one. He did spend a little bit too much on it. It should have probably been 2 cannons.
Oh.
And,
do you know why he sent 2?
Why did
this
he
is
send
an
2?
old Brood War trick where you would just send 2 SCVs, and that's because the Dragoon couldn't stop them. Like, he sent those so that the Queen/Lings wouldn't stop it before he got the Scout.
Okay.
Because he had to know it was coming. Like, are you getting gas? Is there a Roach oncoming? Do I have to prepare for this?
There's a chance you're giving Stardust way too much credit, but let's roll with it. I think that's exactly what he was
Well, I
planning
mean, for someone that has won Dreamhack in the past and is now in the top 8, I find it hard to believe that for some other reason he's like, well, I don't know, just 2 probes. And I mean, that's a big mistake to make.
That would be, well, yeah, could be. Just going to make a Huck joke there, but He's a really good friend of mine. So 3 bases are up for Life. Nothing much beyond that. He doesn't even have speed for himself. So this beginning of the game has been weird. We don't know if it was going to end up being a Roach Rush from there. With it being found, of course, he had to go to Plan B, which is just to fall back on this now looks like a normal game, and we're kind of weirded out by Stardust's random little encampment of cannons. But as we know, that's a different story, and we can go ahead and evaporate 2 minutes of this game. It's very weird opening.
Look at how this creep spread's working out, too. I feel like I'm watching TLO here, kind of. The creep way over on this side of the map right now. Looks like Azella finally going to take out this really injured queen.
Oh, no. Leave me alone. It's dead. But that's actually a really good point. It's funny because, TLO popularized this a while ago, and it was so cool when he did that. But creep here is actually a big deal. There's a chance it might, as I say that, there is an observer that's going to be popping out. So it won't get too crazy where it's blocking the third and that kind of a thing, but...
Hey, this slows everything down. It gives them additional scouting. Why not? Because Stardust with those cannons there wanted to take that gold base more than anything.
Now, Life is teching up straight to Lair. He's adding, I believe that's a 5th gas. Yes, it is. A 5th gas over at the gold base. No Roach Warren, no Evo Chambers. Is this just... It's starting to feel like either straight Hydra or straight Muta.
Well, either way, is this going to be too slow? We have 6 gates about to finish for Stardust, plus 1 as well. The Warp Gate, he's getting Immortals. He has that Observer out to push that creep back so that it's not even going to be easy to scout.
Yeah.
We're seeing Stardust do his old school style here. This is going to be a very strong 2-base all-in.
And that Hydralis Den is approaching 50%, but even when it gets to Artosis, it's not going to have the upgrades immediately. So this gold base, kind of interestingly enough, is not really functioning the way it oftentimes does. That mineral increase will get you a faster 4th hatch, a huge number of Roach Ling, the kind of stuff you would want to fend off a gateway heavy opening. But with Hydralis, that'll get spent here in a second, but, the time's come and gone. There it goes. 12 Hydras right now.
12 Hydras plus Hydralis range, but that is a lot of sentries and some Immortals. This is going to be a very powerful attack here from Stardust.
Could potentially be. He already has kind of a forward pylon that's kind of nice, and again, he can kind of fall back on that. I don't know how much the cans are going to come into play, but it's kind of cool that they're there, actually. But Life is going to go in the backfield. He's going to go for a couple of sentries here. He does get them. There's those Lifelings just sniffing out weakness. I don't know how he saw that, but he did. Going to try a run by at the natural. Of course, that is buttoned up. And now it's all about this. And with these Hydras and Queens here, that's a lot of sentries, but that is a lot of Hydralis.
That is a lot of Hydras. And they're about to have range as well, so Force Field's not going to be quite as strong. We do have Lings trying to come in from the back. He's got to be careful of those ults in the back so he can Force Field the front and kill those Lings pretty easily.
Yep. And the Force Fields are going to button up that opening there with the Lings counterattacking and again pulling back like this. Life is just buying time. He has the DPS. The energy of these sentries is really the only reason that Stardust has any business being here at all, but without those sentries, these Hydras would just raffle stomp him.
Well, he's making some more sentries, but still, that's not a lot of Force Fields right now. He does have a Time Warp available, so we're definitely going to see that come into play pretty soon. And he just continues to warp more sentries. This is Stardust for you.
Yeah.
He will find a little place where you can't quite attack into and continue to warp in units.
Yeah, I've seen this before where he just goes for so long with a couple of Queens and some Hydras stuck here. But again, it's mostly Zealots and Sentries. Good hold position from Stardust, not exposing most of his army to the DPS of those Hydras, but still, that's mostly an even trade. Almost all the Zealots are gone. The Sentries have used up the majority of their energy, and there's just, I believe that's 7 here. He's had as many as 12, so he is trading, and as we can see here, he's losing in supply.
Well, you know what? He's going to continue to warp in sentries. He's going to continue to pick off anything he can. Look at that. Sniping a creep tumor, actually a very important move right now. The further back he can push the creep, the weaker Hydraling will become. And I just love to see that Stardust is actually using his very own style that he's used such a success in the past.
Yeah, now Life did go for range first on the Hydras, which I think is a really cool choice. Because in doing that, the Force Fields, again, they work kind of against the Protoss players. Speed as the follow-up upgrade here, of course, is going to maximize those Hydras and even +1 range upgrade.
Oh, look at how cute this is with those Hydras up there. He does have the Observer, of course, but a little bit of micro being done. Oh, that's a great way to stop mining at gold base.
Yeah, he's basically saying, hey, stop it. Don't mine from that right now. I don't want you to have that advantage. He's going to push for it. He's got to be careful because Life, again, so patient, looking for this gigantic concave already preset. And we've seen this again from Stardust, just kind of going back to his matchups of the ages. He's totally okay sitting on 2 bases, being very patient here. If you look at that production tab, there's no Colossus, no Templar just yet. It's just more Sentries and Immortals.
I don't think he's going to make any other units all game long. It's just going to be more and more units warping in. He wants to eventually max out here and just have an army that you're not going to beat with Hydraling.
It's going to come down to
And
one
look
big
at these
engagement.
force fields.
Yeah, he's actually chewing up 4 or 5 Hydras there, just sequestering them away.
This is so weird in Control.
It is very weird.
But this is what Stardust does. You know, and when he won that Dreamhack kind of out of anywhere, it was with exactly strategies like this, where he continues these warp-ins, and it's working perfectly on this map, especially because he's stopping most of the mining at this gold base, which brings life down to 2 bases.
Now he does end up backing away, and there is no tech behind this. It looks like he actually just kind of wants to reposition, and this is the engagement position. You cannot attack from over that bridge either way, to the Zerg or from the Protoss, but here we go. And he's looking for that concave observer, giving him the spotting ahead. In fact, Life's some of his armies up there kind of occupying himself with pylons. That's still a lot of Hydros, and this is a very open space.
It is, but that's a lot of sentries as well. Really great force fields going down. His Zealots actually clean everything up at the top. They can come down and do a little flank now, but oh, nice moves here by Life, pushing him back now.
Going for an Immortal in that backfield. The Immortal, again, doesn't have its advantage against like armored units like Roaches, but still with its range and just heavy hitting, it does do a lot. Excuse me, Life's got to be careful. If he gets off creep here, he could just be in a one-way trip.
That is true, but you know what? A lot of sentries are falling here, and I feel like that is really great for Life. If he kills off the sentries, no way to replace those, and he's done quite a job on Stardust's army.
You know, it's misleading. Exactly right, Artosis. With all those sentries dying, there's no continuation for Stardust here, and actually, look at that. Life just turns around and says, wait a second. Not only have I done a lot of damage, I still have the stronger army and getting a couple of Stalkers here that are warping in. What does Stardust retreat off to? He's got 1 Immortal, just now a Sentry. There's no growth in his army. There's no tech he can look at, no critical upgrade.
Yeah, there's nothing he can do from here. He can warp in some sentries here and there, but the more sentries he makes, the more Zealots he has to make, and Zealots aren't going to do well at this point in the game against this type of composition. So, I mean, I think he already knows he's pretty much dead here.
Yeah, he just got flanked over here. The Hydras are picking off all the key units. Life microing himself to a fantastic win. Stardust shenanigans not going to work here. Life shuts him down.
Stardust shenanigans, you say, but that started off with Life having shenanigans.
That's true.
I've never seen a strat quite like that, but Life definitely pulls it off. Double gold, man. What's better than 1 gold? 2
Brain
golds.
melts. We thought the same thing.
That's right. America knows all about those golds.
Don't you dare Archon with me, all right? You're already Archoned with him. He's speechless.
Tasteless no longer.
All right, we can Archon until he gets a mic then.
Yeah. Well,
Wait for it. All right, I'm back. That was a crazy game, you know. You think about how Mufasa taught Simba about the circle of life. Well, Life taught our player about the wheel of cheese right there, man. He actually took that. We were talking about how, you know, Stardust was viewed as like, you know, what was he?
You are the best off the couch to table commentator in the business. Like, you're over there like, oh, this will be great, Mufasa, Simba. The wheel of cheese.
The wheel of cheese. There's a circle of life, but that was the wheel of cheese.
I guess it's loosely connected.
We were talking about Stardust being called what, cheese dust or powdered cheese or whatever.
Yeah, craft cheese.
It was Life that brought the wheel of cheese and said, no, we can make this really weird. And
no. Hold on. That's not cheesy though. That was a macro build. 2 gold bases.
Oh, yeah, that was so. But the way it started out was so brilliant because you do a strategy like that. And, of course, you have to play by that guy's rules now. I mean, whatever you had planned initially, that's on hiatus for now.
I tell you what, I feel like Life, coming into some of these games that we watch him play, he's out back, and the thing is, everyone else are talking with their teammates, like, okay, what strategy am I going to do? What am I going to do if he does this? Life takes out his Ouija board and figures out what he's going to do in the next game.
Communing with demons, I guess.
It looks like we're about ready to start our game number 2. I can only hope it's exciting as game number 1 was. Artosis in control. Enjoy.
Thank you. Nick, please write another joke on that couch if you would.
I'll be right back. Yeah.
All right. Here we go in control. It's going to be
Is that what you put up with every night at GSL? This guy over
This
here?
is my life that you are actually getting to see. It's
What a
not
treat.
always on camera, but it's always exactly like this. All right. Up
What a
here,
lucky guy.
In the top right of merry-go-round, winning a wild and wacky game number 1. Make some noise for Startail Life.
What? Now you said top right, didn't you?
I said top left.
Okay, never mind. I thought you were throwing off the camera guy. That's just me. His opponent, The blue Protoss trailing 0-1 in the best of 3 from My Insanity to Stardust. What just happened? You said life, right?
I said life, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was on life. And they
Getting
showed life.
self-conscious. I heard people laughing at me in the audience. I thought I messed up again.
You mess up all the time.
I
in
do.
Control. We just don't tell you about all of it.
I know. You guys protect me from my own
From
fault.
yourself,
Yeah,
actually.
exactly.
So here we are. Game number 2.
No gold bases to take this time, by the way, so life is already at a
Well, what's he going to
disadvantage.
do then?
Yeah, exactly.
That's his main strategy, right?
It's like I was hoping it would be Habitation Station every single time, but
If he loses this, I just want to see a tweet, wow, Blizzard needs to make more gold maps.
Double Probe comes
Is
out
this,
here.
does anyone else think that this game is only fun with gold minerals?
That's a mantra that there's enough people that are big enough fans of him that they would start to take up that torch. And then he's got the kind of attitude where Larry would be like, you idiots, gold bases suck. They're like, oh no, life. Double Probe Scout here though,
Yeah.
and it's going to be up against the hatch first. Stardust, or as Tasteless calls him, powdered cheese dust, will not long be the guy to get out cheese. He has been taught the wheel of cheese lesson, and he's coming forth with a wedge.
Well, we have a couple drones coming down, and, well, we'll see if they can actually end up stopping them. They're lactose intolerant here.
Oh, God.
And not going to let those cannons go down.
All right, well, Stardust is operating off of whole milk here, so this could be what ends up making life pee and poop himself into an early retirement.
Indeed. That's exactly what it could be. That was fantastic. Well, he's going to have to slip this probe in here like butter to fit some cannons in Control.
Please. Look, I'm the guy that looks really bad when we joke too much, all right? I don't have your old man powers of jokery. This cannon is almost completely walled in back there, and let the great slap fight of 2014 begin!
Well, here we go. That is a lot of cannons and a lot of pylons being made. Oh, so many drones actually coming down. He just doesn't have surface area on that one cannon, though.
No, well, 2 drones on it is interesting, actually, because it's almost enough. You can see here that, of course, that cannon will complete and is going to do some damage, but eventually those drones are going to get in there, and he needs a second or third cannon to back this up. Actually,
I don't know.
Is that not enough?
Well, I mean, he's going to lose
gosh.
a lot of drones, but we have like 12 lings on the way, so this will be taken out.
Yeah.
Just at what cost?
Oh, the eternal question of the commentator. It's interesting. It's really hard to measure from here because, yes, the Nexus is going down, but that was 3 pylons, at least 1 cannon completed, and I think 3 or 4 canceled. If you look at the supply, it's 20 probes to 11 drones. You know what? That was a success.
Good. Pretty good.
Depending on what these lings do. If they run by and do some damage, this will be tough.
No,
they won't.
I don't
They
know
won't.
that they're going to run by. We'll see, though. I mean, he's going to have to finish this wall up. Oh! Okay. He got it.
It does get
right.
walled in. So, yeah, this opening was fantastic for Stardust.
Yeah, that's, well, I mean, yeah, it was fantastic because he did end up killing a lot of drones.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, might be one of the first times we're seeing a Manor Pylon Zerg right now. He's not able to mine effectively those top 2 crystals.
I didn't think you could do that because they have creep, but
Here
look
it
at
is.
this, Stardust with a new strat.
Dreamhack and Stardust coming together to once again make history.
Well, you have these Zerglings running back right now. They don't really have too much to do except maybe kill those pylons off. What do you do as Stardust here as a follow-up? Do you just hit like a heavy timing attack?
That's a really good question as well. There's obviously 2 competing thoughts here. You either do what we've seen in the past from some of the more macro-based players like Arain, who's not here, but everybody knows him. And you take this lead and you add probes. You do all the basic stuff, but you just build on this advantage. You take a fast third Nexus because slowlings are going to have a very tough time doing anything about that. Or there's the more aggressive guys, your Stardust, your MCs, who say, I've got this advantage, and I don't think he can hold a 6 gate. There's no way in heck. And that's the way they try to apply the pressure.
I wouldn't mind seeing that here, to be honest. The third base can be pretty tough to hold against Zerg. There's a lot of surface area there. It's really, really far away, and any sort of Roach Hydra timing could mess that up.
Sure.
But again, he did take damage early on, so maybe he's not even going to try for a mineral-heavy build like that.
Life is a scary opponent in so many different ways, but one of the ways, again, for Stardust, his strength is those timing attacks, and Life just handles them so well, getting more done with fewer lings than, as we've talked about this whole time, than almost anybody else. But it's not that it just stops the lings. He's actually one of the, it's weird to call it this, but like the Stefano-esque kind of like control of units, always targeting down the sentries, always targeting down the immortal. He does not miss an opportunity to maximize the usefulness of his units.
Indeed. Now we do have a Robo in the natural here, starting to make some sentries as well, starting that +1. It's looking a lot like the Stardust build that we already know so much about.
Yeah, he is. I mean, Merry-Go-Round, while it's a 3-player map, you can't almost escape that you will have close spawns, I guess the point I'm trying to make. There's closer than not, and this is the closer one, I believe, than if he was in the southern part of the map. And from here, it's a medium-sized map anyways. That's going to be strong for him. But again, Artosis, going back to your question, how do you capitalize on this? It seems that Stardust is saying, well, I think he's going to be droning really hard right now. He shouldn't have too much things like upgrades or, a controlling Zergling flock. I'm going to move out there and apply pressure.
And you know what? Stardust is adding a second Forge and a Twilight. Now this is more accurately what his older build was last year, where he likes to get the 2 Forges, he likes to get some heavy upgrades with it. Definitely still could be that timing attack. I like what I'm seeing out of Stardust, I really do.
Wow, that's actually such a good point. I forgot that was actually the original Stardust build, was the double Forge 2-base craziness. It was a lot like what we saw last game, but it was with strangely very well upgraded units. And my mind terrifies myself as I remember back to Jaedong getting a huge advantage against him, going Mutalisk, and then Mutalisk actually dying to Sentry Stalker because they were 2/2 Sentry Stalker.
Yeah, it was kind of wild. So I'm excited to see him kind of bring this style back here. He is going with a 4 Sentry drop right now, and with 3 more gates about to finish, as well as Warp Gate research. He's threatening a move that can kill a Zerg.
Life saw this. Okay, he's even pulling the drones. He really doesn't want this to happen. And this is actually nice because as we can see in the backfield, while 4 Sentry Warp Prism is extremely scary, not all the gateways are open, so I'm not entirely sure that Stardust is actually needing this to do a ton of damage.
Yeah.
If it could, it would be nice.
Well, it's already done a decent amount of damage. For some shields, he's actually made all of these drones come off the mineral line, so that's pretty nice.
A couple of random 3 Zealots going to just kind of move out here, and unfortunately they do get cut down by the Zerglings. Warp Prism opening up. It looks like he might want to try to make somewhat of a stand here.
Oh, I don't know. I don't really like that at all.
He shouldn't. He shouldn't try this. The Warp Prism and the Mothership Core in danger of dying to those Queens, but they do back away. Behind this, again, we can see it's Immortals, and that second Forge actually, so far, just upgrading the armor upgrade, but that was after the attack upgrade completed at the front, so not really utilizing him, and this is kind of Stardust in a nutshell. He's not the most absolutely refined player in terms of build.
He isn't known for efficiency.
It's micro and army control. Yeah.
Well, you know what? He's getting a lot of sentries here, Jeff. And the creep spread is not all that good. Life doesn't have the lead he had last game.
No.
And even last game, Stardust was making it. He was starting to get some work done at times. So this is going to be even more scary. Has more energy on the Mothership Core, has more sentries overall. He has that Warp Prism as well.
One thing he does not have going for him, though, Artosis, you'll notice this point of contention, it's a lot more wide open. So while he does have a lot of sentries, he will not be able to do what he did earlier, which is to shave off chunks of units individually. Life is going to look for a big concave. He kind of forfeits the space, and he's fine with that. He says, yeah, sure, come closer. The ramps go down to that top ramp. That does sequester off a little bit of the chunk. In fact, Life does not have that much of his army here, and look at this. Stardust is just going to sit at the base and triple force field that ramp.
Well, that's going to take a lot of force fields, but he has quite a few. Some force fields going down in front of these Hydras, starting to take out a lot of drones and Zerglings.
Oh, but the force fields in the backfield have given up. The Warp Prism is one of the first things to go. It dies. There go the reinforcements. Stardust winning the southern part, but this is what worries me. There's no reinforcements. He's ran out of force fields, and his army is at the soft underbelly. Here comes Life. And while the supplies are fairly close, the problem here is without all those sentries being around, that's the strength of Stardust's army. He's got nothing to back up on. There's no Colossus coming out. There's no DT tech, nothing like that.
That is true, but I feel like it's a better position to back up into than it was on the last map, because he does have 2 Forges and he does have a Twilight, so he can kind of go into maybe some Blink, maybe getting 2/2. Or he could just keep making Immortals against Hydra.
We're witnessing the poison of all those sentries being used the way they were, though, Artosis. I mean, look at this. He doesn't have the gas for any of the things you mentioned. He's got 1,200 minerals, so he could warp in round after round after round of Zealots if he likes, but against mass Hydra at this stage of the game, on creep, no, that's not going to get it done. And it's a weird thing to look at, because Stardust is still, again, look, they're close in supply. Stardust could dig this out. I'm not trying to completely discount him, but he is way behind because of what he spent on those sentries.
Oh, and these Lings continue to catch important units. A sentry here, an Immortal there. The double probes that seem to always be on the map trying to help him. Not going to be able to do it, though.
No, not this time. That Immortal does get surrounded and killed. Zerg is going to run in here, and they're just going to scout more than anything. I mean, yeah, they'll make their way into the main, and there is no defense right this second. But, of course, 5 Zerglings will get figured out. This Observer is going to push forward and see... Well, not the most gigantic of armies from Life. I mean, the other kind of nice thing, again, if we're going to make an argument for Stardust, is that he started this aggression very early on, so the drone count, it's just at 57. It could be higher, I guess.
And it was lower until just recently. He was down in the very low 50s for most of this game.
Okay. And he's going to back up here, letting the sentries get a little bit more energy, and Immortal does join the force. So he has kind of beg borrowed and scrapped together this army here that is quite formidable. Again, if Life just A moves into this, yeah, he could get absolutely smashed, sandwiched back with the Zealots, but that's not Life's way.
Oh my God, he went with a probe up towards the north to expand there. There was an Overlord spreading creep. So now he's just taking this base. What do you think about that?
I like it a lot. What is Life going to do? Attack up that ramp? That's a tough go. If he circles around to the natural, of course, that's going to be the better idea, splitting up his army or perhaps just attacking from that point.
But then you can flank it against the wall if you're really quick, if you're really on top of things.
Sure, he could.
Oh.
But I also like what Stardust is doing here, too. He's switching to Colossus Tech. That's actually going to get potentially scouted here. Did you see the robotics bay? Yes, well, of course, it's right there at the natural. So Life getting the critical intel again, exactly when he needs to. This Ling counter coming at just an amazing time. And so far, there's no reaction from Life. We're not seeing like a Spire or roaches, something that's going to be some kind of answer to this Colossus. Yeah. Instead, I think what he's saying is, you know what? You're not going to get those Colossus out in time.
Well, he's just making a lot of Hydras and a lot of Lings. He's even bringing his Queens at this point. I feel like we need some more sentries warped in here for Stardust. He cannot engage this army front on.
No, it's not going to be about engagement, though. It's just going to be about defending. He needs to hold on to this third if he can. You can see there's no fourth base for Life. In fact, a Zealot warping inside the main. That huge segment does get force fielded up. Going up a ramp is a classic folly that Zerg's been making since the beginning of time. I'm not sure if Life wants to fight here. Zealots inside the main getting an excellent trade.
Yeah, indeed. They're doing a lot of damage here. The drone's even having to come out and fight, losing some mining time as well. He's trying to go back up that ramp, but still a lot of force fields.
Yeah, another grab there as well, trading mostly Zealots for Hydros and getting a few Queens for his troubles as well. But to your point, Artosis, there's only 2 sentries with energy remaining, so he's going to need to warp in more if he wants more force fields, or Life's going to have to give up on this. And honestly, look at how much he's lost. I don't think he can do it here.
No, I think he's not going to break this. He's finally figuring that out. So looks like Life going to move towards the north, but now we do have Colossi out.
Artosis.
Yes.
Colossus are coming out. They're on equal bases. There's no tech behind this from Life. Life is not even mining the gas from his main or his third. I think he's suffering from tunnel vision syndrome. He's just going for it. He's trying to win right now, and if he doesn't, I fear for his life.
Well, you know what? He's hitting 2 places at once. Oh no, these sentries being taken out. A huge move there by Life. Stardust with a huge mistake, and the Hydra's actually getting in towards the main.
And just like that, Life finds a way. If I can quote Jurassic Park every single time, I'll do it. Here they are. The Hydra's running in, dealing some damage, going for the main base. They're not really target firing anything super important. The Colossus is very powerful here, so I feel like this is a bit of a missed opportunity from Stardust. Of course, this is not done just yet. He has to be careful without that range upgrade complete.
Well, you know what? The Colossus will help him to clean this up a bit, but a lot of damage has been dealt here. Losing 4 sentries at this point when he was just starting to recover. Yeah. Having these Hydras get in here and mess with absolutely everything. Another attack coming down, but the one saving grace of this is that Life is remaining on Hydra Queen Ling.
Yeah, exactly. It's what gives me a lot of concern here. He went up there and is now going to have to back away. There's no sentries here to make this an absolute death trap, but that's a great concave. And guess what, Queens? You're not very fast. You guys did not eat your weeds. You're kind of chubby, and they're going to get ran down here.
I think it's just because they don't have any creep, Jeff. But yeah, you're right. They are going to get run down. And these Queens do die.
I love you so much. My God.
As you should. I'm great.
All right. Stardust is going to start to kind of join forces here as the second Colossus making its way to this big bubble. He does not have sentries, and honestly, that's the only saving grace for Life right now. I can't stress this enough. These Colossus are going to do so much damage. Stardust just now Oh my God. Now's not the time, Colossus. Back at his third, it's doing a break dance.
Is it?
Just stopped. Thank you.
Huh. That would be a weird
It wasn't on camera, but I swear it did happen. All right, sentry's getting warped in here. And again, still just more Hydras. Life's going to try another counterattack of Lings and a few Hydras. He needs that to do a lot of damage. He just killed a Queen for reasons we don't know. There's mutiny inside of Life's army right now.
Needed to free up that 2 supply.
Yeah, maybe. No, he didn't.
All right, well, this attack from Stardust is looking scarier and scarier at the moment. Another little Ling run by. Life is doing what he can to draw him back and maybe deal some damage in the meantime. And you know what? This is actually pretty effective.
He's poked the bear. Stardust says it's now or never, and those are 3 Colossus with no answer for them. Time Warp does go down. Not a lot in the way of sentries, but what they do have is Guardian Shield, and Life is melting away. There it is. Stardust ties up the series.
Wow.
I liked the counterattacks. I liked the Hydra in the response to that cheesy Stardust play. I think if we're making a case for Life, we say that he's being thrown off by this unorthodox, super heavy 2-base play from Stardust. Because otherwise, Artosis, if we're being honest with ourselves, it has not been the Life of old. This has been pretty lackluster.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That game was a little bit weird, but as you said, he got tunnel vision there. He just decided that he was going to beat him with Hydra Ling. And, that doesn't always work, especially when you're attacking uphill, up a ramp, against Colossus and Sentry.
It was a fantastic game back there. I was talking to the Muslim while we were watching that, and we were saying Life is just so good. But in that last game, despite the failed cannon rush early on, he handled it really, really well. And he transitioned right into the late game. And you're right, I think Life was a little bit too stubborn, had a little bit too much tunnel vision.
That's right. That's a tough one. The next map going to be Overgrowth.
And all of a sudden, by the way, Life, who again is a player who enters every single tournament and says, he says to himself, I'm going to win. I'm the best player. Most people agree with him. But lo and behold, Stardust, the giant killer, the guy that has made a name, a career off of winning games and matches that people just don't think he should or can, he's one game away from it. And Overgrowth, what a thing to overcome that would be, by the way. This is not the most Zergy of Zerg maps, but certainly Protoss players feel a little bit disadvantaged here.
You know what? That's true. Zerg players really like this map. It's going to be hard for Stardust. I have to ask, like, Demuslim, do you think there's a chance we'll see the double gold-based strategy again?
On Overgrowth?
On Overgrowth.
No, but Life, throughout this whole series...
That's when we find out we all really don't get this game. So that starts to happen.
But no, Life in this series, even though he lost that game, he's been doing mad work with his Lings, which is kind of what he's known for. Picking off units on the Habitation Station game, picked off 2 sentries in the initial start of the push, did well. This game picking off Immortals, probes, scouting constantly. Constant run-bys as well. Stardust is doing so well at dealing with Life, because Life is a little animal that you just let loose. And he's doing ever so well. That game stabilized his third, got a Gateway army out, and just pushed and won.
Yeah, that's Stardust. The clash of these 2 different wild styles is so fun and entertaining to watch. I have no idea who's going to end up winning this.
Me
You
personally,
used to. Wait a second. Hold on.
I think it's Life.
Press him on that, please.
But I mean,
I have no idea who's going to win.
because I'm leaning towards Life. That's why I was interjecting there. Is for me, I look at this and I say, okay, Life had a few errors in that last game, but how he's been playing overall and compared to the Life that we're used to historically, you don't think that it's a pretty strong chance to win this here?
Well, the thing is, Stardust is going to do something crazy like this again. Another one of these big warp and attacks. And if Life suddenly decides, I'm doing this and I'm going to stop it with this, is that going to work again? What if he does a quicker timing attack? Because Life seems like he just wants to go right up to Hydras. What if he does a quicker one, like without Immortals? What if it's a warp gate attack and it's hitting right before those Hydras?
And as I kind of think about this map, if you look at the third base of the Zerg in particular, because let's be honest, Stardust is probably going to be the one being aggressive. If he does the same kind of style he did in game number 1 and 2, that's a tough defense because unless you're on the right side, like the other side of that third, which is a little bit more of a wide open space, but again, there's some choked areas there as well. You're working against your own hatchery, essentially. So if he can get there, thank you, Artosis. If he can get there, does Stardust, then that's just by the map, that's a tough spot for Hydra Ling to defend.
The third is very open, though, for Zerg to kind of deal with a fast Protoss expansion. And when you're playing against a guy like Stardust, who I have never seen him open up Phoenix or any sort of Stargate play. He's very centered around robotics facilities, having excess gateways just to get that gateway army out, and not taking a third. Is that something that Life is going to take advantage of? He can't, because Stardust just doesn't do that. But Life was very content with playing a pretty low economy game And I'm not sure that's how you have to play against Stardust.
Well, it's certainly not. I mean, this doesn't feel like this is Life's wheelhouse. He's not comfortable here. He's the guy usually making you react to his aggression, and all of a sudden he's been on his back foot, and we're seeing, I feel like, his lesser strengths right now.
Do you guys think we're going to have a more ordinary opener here from
Absolutely
these two guys?
not.
You think it's just going to stay weird?
At least from Stardust is going to stay weird. I could see Life just going into standard macro here because it is a good map for ZVP, but with Stardust, I mean, there's not even really a normal build here yet for
This
Protoss.
is the most normal map out of the bunch, though. If we were to see a normal macro game, I think it would be on this map.
You know what's funny about it is that he played so well when it was a pretty normal game. I mean, cannon rushes, yes, they are a little bit cheesy, but at this point in time, the way PvZ looks, we see cannon rushes so often, it's almost commonplace at this point in time. But even an opener like that, he still played really well. He still looked really good. If he does anything beyond that, I don't know. After seeing him win that game there, if I'm Stardust, I would probably go for the route of a more standard game.
Well, you are not Stardust, and Stardust is seriously really cheesy. I can't stress this enough.
You don't think though there's just any chance that since his reputation is this bad that
It's not that. I mean, listen, Cheese gets a lot of
He's
bad
scary.
rep, but he's actually a very hard player to play against precisely because of that. He's a different brand of Protoss. Life comes in here after duking it out with your but your super talented, very macro powerful Protosses over in Korea. Here he's facing Stardust, who's a bit of an expatriate coming over to Europe, and he's learned the ways of the Europeans. They have phenomenal cheese here, and he's been executing it great. So for him to say, no, this is what got me here, this is my strength, I'm now going to try to play outside of my strengths to be normal, that would be a really bad choice to make in a tournament.
You know, something else to keep in mind too is the fact that Protosses are almost extinct here, at least in Bucharest. Whatever the best strategies that we could see here from Life, he doesn't have to save them for anything else, right? I mean, he can just play the most solid builds.
That's it. Like
I'm almost wondering if he was just really eager to use that gold mineral strategy because he hadn't been able to use it effectively yet. He's like, well, I mean, I got to at least try
I got to show
thing.
this off for the fans.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think beyond that, he's probably just going to be bringing out the best possible builds, which is something to keep in mind when you consider the fact that these guys, some of these guys have the same race, possibly later on in the bracket.
Absolutely.
In this case. It looks like our game should be up and ready, so we're going to go now into game number 3 here between Life and Stardust.
Here we go. In the bottom left of Overgrowth. He's got to win this or he's out. Make some noise for Startail Life.
An absolute fan favorite, having his medal tested here. Big stage, wants to take this home. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the same situation. Let's give it up for the final Protoss. It is Mayan Sandy Stardust. And I'll tell you what, Stardust is a Dreamhack champion. I've stood on stage with that gentleman, asked him questions, and he's answered spectacularly on his way to gigantic checks. He plays a special brand of StarCraft 2 here with Dreamhack in particular, I'll tell you.
He certainly does. This is a tournament he's quite comfortable in, but Life is looking for a big win. He thought he was going to win I Am Katowice. He really did. And, he's come close in Bucharest before. Tasia did knock him out last time, but he got very deep into that round of 4. A big win has eluded him for a little bit.
Yeah.
This is a guy that we thought might just win every tournament for a year, something like that. And it hasn't been the case.
No, and it's actually interesting you bring that up because I think back to, I can't put my finger on it. It was either this most recent WCS European season or it might have been, I think, Dreamhack winner. I remember Stardust actually was experimenting with something that I think it was either Tasteless or DeMuslim brought up. The more common Phoenix play. He was doing this more macro-based play, and he was having a really tough time with it. And he's a very cool personality in that he kind of wears his emotions on his sleeve, but he also tweets a lot about it. He was talking about it. He's like, this is not what I do. I'm going back to this. And it's fun to see this because he popularized it for a while. Last year, there was other people trying this like double forge stuff out.
Yeah,
and fast charge lot even is another part that he used to do.
I was actually trying it out for quite a while,
Yeah.
and it's definitely powerful, but you have to know how to use it.
Yeah.
It's such a unique type of build.
It really emphasizes force fields. My gosh, you cannot miss a force field. Nice cancel there, delaying this as long as possible. And I'll tell you what, he did have a forge first, but he goes in and sees that this is not a hatch first, so he says, okay, That's fine with me. I'll go ahead and not do the cannon rush this time around.
I do have to say, I like that Life went for that pool first, realizing, you know what, this is going to be the best map for macro play. I want to make sure that I don't get messed up too hard early on.
Yep.
Because that can happen, because Stardust is a cannon rusher, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And I really feel like Life is the player of these two that really wants this game to normalize. He would love it if this game did become just a straight-up macro game, because with his speed, with his aggression, with his multitask, he is, at least as far as I'm concerned, the mechanically more sound and talented player. Stardust wants this game to be leveraged one way or another in the first 12 to 15 minutes. He really needs it to.
Yeah. Well, 3 bases going up here for Life.
Interesting.
Oh, look at that. A little bit of harassment. Looks like he can get his Zergling in to scout the base, but I would say not the biggest deal.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you know, either way, at least he gets to scout and see, is he going for a Robo or is he switching it up again?
Well, it's pre-Cybernetics Core is what makes this kind of funny for me. He's like, you are mining gas. You do have just one Nexus in here. Okay.
How many probes do you think he's going to kill?
0.
Yeah, me too.
Even this one lifelink. Oh, goodness. He's going to get 1.
Oh.
Shouldn't have changed my answer. Good micro by both of them. But again, he does get the scout, but like I said, if we're putting on our monocle and being super cynical here, there's really nothing you would scout at this time. It's not like you're going to do a pre-warp gate 5 gate. That would be the only thing to make the double gold base game seem normal.
Yes, I suppose
Just starts
that
walking zealots across the map.
Forget what game you're playing. It's like, is this StarCraft 1 or 2? I can't quite remember.
It could work.
Well, here we are, and the 3 bases are up. Warp gate research is started, and there goes that +1 attack as well.
Kind of an early +1, and what's nice too, let me check to make sure. The Overlord from this position cannot see the Forge. He moves it slightly forward and does see it spinning. And I'll tell you what, that's become, it used to be that was the absolute norm if, a Forge would upgrade at this time.
Yeah.
But that fell away. Protosses are instead doing very fast Stargates, very fast Robos, very fast Twilight Councils, and they're skipping that +1 attack.
Well, do you think here that we're going to see him try to maybe do a 4-gate pressure?
Very possible. Very possible.
Because he is chrono boosting his warp gate research at the moment. So that plus the +1 started so early on here, kind of both point towards that. And here goes some gateways.
Yeah, there's 2 Zealots already out of the map doing as much damage as they can. A Stalker coming out to join as well, and a Probe. So as you said, with the gateways behind this, I think you're exactly right, Artosis. Chrono Boost on that Warp Gate almost exclusively. It's going to be 5, 6 gates. The Probe's still there, though.
This is... Yeah, he's going to be going into a 7 or 8 gate here, and this is a super powerful strategy, but this time, Life actually getting that Roach Warren.
He's getting the Roach Warren. Does lose a Queen there, though, due to fantastic control and attacking from Stardust. Lots of Zerglings being queued up here, and Artosis is something we've talked about. If you look at the economy of the Zerg, he's at 43 drones. Now, that's a pretty good number, but ideally he wants about 50 to handle this gateway explosion that's coming. It's going to be a 7-gate.
Oh, man. This is so hard. I love how he's using those rocks to back up his pylon. It's going to be a lot harder to flank these. A 3rd pylon going up, very Stardust-esque here. Can Life actually end up holding this? This is going to be a lot of units, and +1. I mean, he needs those roaches to hatch ASAP.
Oh my gosh, and these are still slow lings. They show themselves to take a few pot shots, but they're moving into flank. There's a lot of pylons here, so I don't really know that Stardust is in danger of losing his ability to warp in here anytime soon. But on the other hand, if you're Life and you see this many pylons, there's
what's
no
going
illusion.
on.
You're like, okay, you're coming after me. This is real.
Yeah, no, this is it. Life has to hold here or he is out of this tournament. Stardust is putting it all on the line. Oh my God, he's counterattacking.
I think that's a really bad call.
Yeah.
I mean, in most cases, that's a great call, but in this case, he's not able to lock in these units. Stardust moving down, getting as many shots in as he can. There's still a lot of speedlings here, but Stardust is starting to amass quite the force.
Yeah, this is getting pretty scary, and as that Mothership core gets up into enough energy for a Time Warp, it's going to get even scarier. Right now, these +1 Zealots doing a job on the Zerglings, but the Zerglings actually engaging on these Stalkers pretty well, starting to push him back a little bit, and his other Zergling's going to have to come home.
One of the things that's really making me nervous is Life is making a lot of Zerglings and very few Roaches, so his Roach count's not actually super high, whereas the Stalker count is growing quite well. The Zerglings do come back after the failed counterattack at the natural. And one of the real crazy things about Stardust is he's totally okay pushing this game into weird places. He can just hover around out here, and in fact, Life's going for a lair amidst this.
Oh, I don't know if I like the lair. I feel like every mineral has to be spent on units right now. He has to be able to hold this. A Time Warp does go down. This is the important moment of this game. Stardust has this Time Warp in a beautiful position, starting to target down that hatch, but Life going to run around the bottom.
And this is that bottleneck spot that I was talking about. It's really tough. That Time Warp is zoning out so many units. Life does get around it, but his Roach is being held back. Ling's darting, and having a tough time getting the connections they need, but now these Roaches are pushing forward and able to kind of thwart the Stalkers for right now. There's no Zealots with this just now. Stardust is not getting the super big ball that he needs. He's still losing just enough units that I think Life is starting to hold this.
It does look that way, but his Stalker retention is great. And if he can continually make more Stalkers and keep those alive at least, it's going to be pretty good. I mean, you can micro those heavily.
I'm punctually wrong again. It kind of seems, just as I say that, Life's flow of units starts to kind of dwindle here, whereas, as you said, Stardust, his Stalker retention's looking great. Life's abandoning this third spot, and his hatchery's in danger of getting focused down.
These Roaches getting low on health as well. He's making mostly Lings right now, but we have a lot of Zealots being warped in. With that +1 attack, it's going to be really hard to get anything done with Lings.
The does die, though, and that's a big deal. Time Warp in this position so absolutely powerful, and of course, without the Queens, it is also doing a little bit of support damage. Zealot's going to work on the Zerglings inside that third, and again, the Stalker count's not really changing. Life continues to back away. A couple of Queens on low energy. And he's doing it.
You know what? He's doing a great job rotating through Zealots and Stalkers here, really having exactly what he needs every single time Life reinforces his army. Look at the supplies getting closer and closer here for Stardust as he wants.
Gosh, yep. I was just wondering when he was actually focused on this hatchery. He's still leaving it alive at 49 health. My goodness, man, just shoot it so it can stop making things. The eggs are about to splat out. This would be kind of a big deal. I think he will click on it. No, he's still going after the Roaches.
Don't forget, you get flanked if you kill that by some Brooklings momentarily. He might be leaving that there on purpose for the moment. Still doing the best he can. More Roaches coming out right now for Life. He's continuing to rally out a lot of Zerglings as well. Can Life possibly hold this? It's looking worse and worse for him at every moment.
It keeps going back and forth just a little bit. Now getting a couple of shots on the hatchery.
Look at this.
Still leaving it alive.
Pushing forward, killing some of these Stalkers off, but those Zealots doing a good job against these Zerglings once again. He's only got 3 Roaches down here. More Stalkers being warped in, and Stardust still holding.
Stardust is down 22 supplies, not mining gas behind this. He hasn't really used his Chrono Boost at all. He's been flirting with danger over here. He's Life, one of the favorites to win the tournament, and he's seemingly microing for his very life. There's the hatch snipe, and he's going to back away. 33 production reduced there. Oh, Sentry's just getting warped in, and they're immediately picked off. One force field does go down. And Life is now fighting off creep. He can't spend any time there.
Yeah, he needs to stay on his creep. He is picking off some units, which is nice, but losing that hatchery is, in fact, a very big deal. Continues to increase his unit count, but of course, Stardust, he's not really mining a lot at home. He doesn't have a lot of tech. He just has these gateway units, so still Life has a little chance.
Yeah, it's very here or never, I feel, for Stardust. Going home would be a very strange situation. He's going to continue to fight back here. He's got to be careful with the sentries. They're so expensive, given, again, he's not mining gases naturally. They represent potentially 2 Stalkers otherwise. But again, this meticulous focus fire is doing a great job. As I say that, though, Life doing a phenomenal job as well. Like, every time I want to say Life is about to die, another swell of units come in here and get the shots they need to bring this really close again.
He's staying on top of his macro, no doubt about it. Look at this, the Lings coming in, more Roaches as well. Is Life actually going to push Stardust all the way back? If he can kill all these Stalkers, then this attack is over.
Artosis, I appreciate you doing that just to help me out, make me look good too, because this is so back and forth. My brain was in the same spot as you. I'm like, he's getting us around, and that's exactly what he shouldn't do, I guess. And fighting off creep is just not good, but we can see behind this, a Mothership Core is being built. Probes are starting to get made again. There's a chance that behind this, Stardust says, okay, maybe I don't absolutely win it here. I need to start thinking about other things. Yep, another gas goes down as well.
All right, we'll see what he can have doing with that. Ooh, a very nice force field going down, catching a Queen as well as getting a free Roach right there. He is going to back up once again, but Life going to chase him back once more. This has been so crazy. Where is this game even at?
Well, I was just going to say, it's actually at minute 16, but you very well could just look at this as minute 5 for all we care. It's about the same thing. There is a layer completed behind this, and Life is starting to go over and take his third. He's retaking, excuse me. And it seems Stardust will... Oh, okay, I was just going to say he's going to disengage, but no, that's silly. Why disengage when you can just keep attacking forever?
That's right. He is going to keep attacking forever. A lot of Zealots in here, and this Roach count is continuing to grow, so that could be an issue. Really, the Stalkers are the ones dealing the damage here. Good micro by Life, but he's got to be careful off creep, because that's where Stardust does the most damage.
I'm gonna put my... well, we've already lost all cast rep, integrity that we could have in this game, but I feel like Life's done it. I think he's defended this. That's a nice big Stalker warp in, so they're going to do some damage, and if Life spends too much time off creep, he's going to once again make me into a liar, but...
Doesn't quite get that sentry. Still picking off a lot of Zealots,
No,
though.
there's no but. He is making me into a liar. If you warp in more Stalkers, apparently it's just always good.
Stalkers are a good unit.
They are a good
As
unit.
we know. Blink, no blink, does it matter?
Robo behind this as well as Burrow. Burrow would be the stamp of approval for right now on Life actually holding this. There is no response. So yeah, we
But
can
he's
see that
getting a
Stardust is
Robo?
going to back away. No, for here.
Oh, okay.
There will be a response
Yeah.
later. Stardust is actually going to take his 4th gas as well. And this is so crazy. Look, the main of both these players is mostly mined out. And they're like, all right, fine. You can get a Spire and I'll get a Robo. You know, like tech that usually happens around minute 7 or 8.
Yeah, this is just so crazy. I can't even believe how this game has gone so far.
Yeah.
Really great micro from both sides. Who would you put as a head right here?
I like Life's position. I like it because it's Robo versus Spire. So from our perspective, it's that just outright is very good. That
He
being said,
just canceled the Spire.
never mind.
But he's getting Burrow movement in Burrow.
I really like Stardust position, as I was saying. Robo against Burrow movement, phenomenal. I don't like that actually from Life.
think
It's hard to be
Life-
too judgmental in a weird game like this, but you know he goes Immortals. He's done that every single time.
That's-
And if not Immortals, then at least a lot of Gateway units. All he needs is detection.
It's a very good point, what you bring up here, but he may be able to do some really strong counterattacks.
What the
or
hell
something
is
like
that?
Third base?
Oh, I thought it was just a super big pylon.
Well,
yeah.
sometimes for Stardust, that's what the third base
Yeah.
is.
Oh, a big mistake potentially here. He's getting force movement in, and then he burrows.
Where's the observer? There
Oh, and
is
we have
an
a
observer
counterattack to
somewhere.
natural, by the way, and that's going to get thwarted. He went
There's the
Immortal
observer.
first.
All right, he's going to try to get out of there. Still, he loses a lot
Loses a
of units.
very
a
nice
lot
force
of
field there.
units.
And Life's in danger here. There is that observer. No Burrow will save you here. You need to back away. If Life continues to fight here, there's a good chance he loses a lot more. And again, he's going to counter into the natural, but there's a Photon Overcharge or Zealot Warp in.
Cannon.
Yeah.
He's just running by
the
towards where
best
the
spot.
Immortal's being made.
Not the best spot.
No, it's definitely pretty tough. Look at this. Going to have to use this Burrow movement. Looks like Life has decided this ZVP too hard. Time to play some ZVZ.
Yeah, he's going to... What happened to the observer, by the way? It was here.
I have no idea. There it is.
Here.
Trying to go up to that main
Going to the
base.
main. He should be making more observers, you'd almost imagine. Or at least a cannon here at the third. Yep.
Yeah, it's a good cannon. A very
Now,
good cannon.
behind this, Life just now getting a Hydra Den. He's ahead in supply, but I
He's got
really
38
like Stardust
drones.
position.
He's
Yeah,
got 38 drones. I'm not feeling too good about
No.
this.
Man, and this is your pick to win the whole tournament. You must feel...
He's got it, man. No problem. Why would you need more than 38 drones when you have Burrow movement
I
against
know.
a Mortal Sentry Observer? I mean,
I'm
come on.
worried for him. Stardust, he has this great sense of when he should be the all-out bulldog of aggression and when he should back off and just defend. He's going to go ahead and saturate this third. If he texts to Colossus again, I don't know what Life can do in response.
Well, look with this move. I mean, a little bit questionable. I feel like he's having a midlife crisis at the moment.
I like it.
All right, well, these roaches not doing the greatest job against the Immortal Cannon, Zealot, Stalker, Sentry, Observer combo.
All that
pretty tough
daytime television
situation.
you're watching with your child has made you even funnier, Artosis. I don't know how it's possible.
Yeah,
but
it's a crazy thing.
it's done it.
Well, I mean, he's got little Burrow pockets all over the place, continuing to make roaches, deciding to add on a few drones at least. So
He actually can't even afford to upgrade his Hydralisk right now, so he's just having a tough time. And all this harass, it's really not doing much. He's moving. He's basically trading roaches for either a couple of probes, or like a probes and a zealot.
To be fair, it's down to 26 probes right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the economy kind of flip-flopped over. Life has killed 26 probes this game. That's pretty decent. So he's going to be able to get his macro advantage going again, but the army of Stardust is going to be very difficult to kill.
Yeah, Stardust is ahead, 2,000 in resources for units lost. I guess that's fairly understandable. Zerg is going to be the race that just throws more things away. And again, that's supply gap
especially
has
this
widened.
game, Jeff.
Yeah, this has been... We're at minute 23, and it's just been nonstop aggression. Life has found time to drone behind this. We're starting to get that economy up. We can see Hydros coming out, but Artosis, there's that robotic space. Stardust, he knows what he needs to do.
He is going to tech up a little bit more here, and of course with that Twilight, that's going to help out a lot as well. But you know what? If he's slowing it down a little bit, trying to regain his economy, trying to tech up some as well, that gives Life plenty of time, and Life is taking one of the gold bases.
Just one this time.
I have to specify with this guy. You never know.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He's saving up money to get that second one, though, because why have one gold when you can have two? Stardust, though, is just moving back and forth. And again, Life is so committed to this harass. And as you said, he did kill 26 probes, but I feel like it's just been on a razor's edge this entire time. It's still just Roach. He's adding Hydras behind this. But if you look at the unit tab, 12 Hydras, 33 Roaches. Any number of Colossus is going to be in God mode right now.
That's true, but look at how many sentries there are. And those things all have pretty much full energy. That's enough force fields for him to like write us a message in cursive.
I feel like every time I shoot to you, it's just another joke, so I'm kind of worried which one of these is going to be at my expense or not. But so far this weekend, there's been quite a few, actually. More Colossus still coming out. Artosis.
Yes. And he continues to harass, man. Look at this. Just picking off probes left and right.
Okay. I'm just going to dull the pain. Yeah. And again, he is getting the probes, but just slowing him down. To be fair, we talked about the supply differential being, around 30. With this probe harass being nonstop like that, the supply gap has widened to 40 or 50 supply advantage for Life, and that's only going to broaden as this gold base is being saturated immediately. And
you know what? He's getting some infestors. He's going up to Hive at the moment. And, at this point, a couple of Vipers would do him very, very well.
Geez.
This is not a situation in which we can see High Templars come out easily.
Yeah, if Life can buy time to that, and the nice thing about that is you only need the Hive, so the Vipers can come out immediately after. I mean, that is actually lights out for Stardust. It just gets shut down. He's nowhere in the ballpark of having the money to be able to afford Templar as well. He has actually a lot of gas banked up, but he literally has, I think it was 27 last I checked. It's 29 probes now smattered around his bases, and if you look around, it's a hodgepodge of probes. There's no consistency anywhere. So Vipers are going to be an amazing answer here.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty scary. One Viper already on the way. What does Stardust do here? Does he try to move out for an attack? Is he just going to find the Vipers and then try to get up into High Templars? He does have a lot of gas, as you said, so maybe he can get into the ultimate death ball.
He could, absolutely, but he needs to see this coming because it's been all Roaches. And honestly, Protoss have that voice in their head that's saying, he's just buying time right now. And you need to answer that with what? You pointed out something very important, Artosis. You talked about how he has a lot of sentry energy. He really has fallen off on scouting that ahead. If you see that Hive and just Roach Hydra, you already know what it's going to be. And Templar it's the absolute must-have answer here. You have to have feedback.
Oh, by the way, he just started Thermal Lance, so definitely a bit of a mistake there. I don't think he needs to worry about not having Thermal Lance because the Vipers, there's no way to stop them from pulling the Colossus in anyways, so...
It's still a huge mistake, though. Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
That is for sure. But he's taken his gold base.
He needs more time. That's just the answer. I don't think he'll get it. Life is maxed. He's banked money. He's just carved for himself enough time to get here. I really feel bad. This was Stardust game to lose, but right now Artosis, without this upgrade, without Templar, I feel like Life is about to monster mode him.
It looks like it. These Vipers going to come in very handy. Ooh, I really like that.
Does he abduct it, though? Does he fall for that trap?
We'll see, and he probes one of them at least.
Saves one Colossus. Good force fields parsing off this army. The Hydra's kind of having a mixed match of engagement here, but it's still so much Zerg. One of the Colossus still standing. A lot of good force fields here, though, but again, Life's up 100 supply.
Okay, that is true, and probably it's not going to turn out well for Stardust, but he's remaxing on Roaches, and we still do have some Immortals, so maybe he can hold on a bit longer. Maybe he can start mining from that gold base and get something done.
He's going to need to save it. It doesn't look like he's actually preoccupied. He's just going to attack across the map, and the Vipers did not die, so they actually can abduct again if they like. There's no warp-in ability here. A second Colossus is going to join. I mean, it's a fairly strong army, but guess what? The resupply is too strong. Did not count on there being a bank. There's one abduction. There's two. The Colossus and the Immortal die. And with that, the army of Stardust is looking very weak.
Yeah, his supply is doubled at the moment by Life. He's having such a hard time. Still 33 probes, just not able to hit any real economy at all in this game.
No, and he has the 1,200 gas, or closer to 1,100 at this point in time. And like you said, if he were to get a Templar Archive, he could of course spend that, but he actually doesn't have the minerals for it right now.
When you don't have the minerals for a Templar Archives to spend all your gas, you know you're in deep.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be. There's another abduction. The Colossus not only shatters the force fields, but dies. Stardust, you put up a hell of a fight.
Indeed.
You had Life staring down the barrel of losing early in this tournament, but it is no more. Life has microed his way to this position and is now looking to take this series. Stardust is going to make it a fight, but It's all but a formality, Artosis.
That's right. Stardust not leaving the game quite yet, but that's it. GG! And Startail Life goes up to the round of 4.
Unbelievable game back there. I mean, it started out one way and took a major turn. We saw that hatch get taken out. He was pushed back. He was staying, Stardust was staying with Stardust for a while there. But Life without Bucharest just did a fantastic job. Overcome all odds, and in the end, it was just this massive Zerg force that you could not contest.
What a back and forth game, though. I mean, there's again, Artosis and I at the beginning were just like, he's got it, and then he's got it. It just went back and forth there. But even after that, I really felt with that third in the Colossus tech, Stardust was like a photon overcharge and a couple of force fields away from stealing a counterattack and then just winning the game. There was no answer for those Colossus.
It felt that way, but I mean, that was really like a ZVZ strat that we were watching.
Yeah.
And with ZVZ that good, who's going to stop him in this tournament now?
You got to think with a player this tenacious, somebody who could just stay in there no matter what and overcome all the odds, he's still got a fantastic chance of winning this entire tournament. We are going to go to the interview now with Life and see how he's feeling after that last epic game.
Thank you very much, Tasteless. Guys, give it up for Life on advancing to the semifinals. Now, Life, in games 1 and 2, you saw that Stardust was all-inning. I'm sure in game 3 you had some idea of what was going to come your way, another all-in, and yet it turned out that game was extremely close. What was going through your head during that game 3?
이제 그 첫 경기랑 두 번째 경기에서 손석희 선수가 올인을 했잖아요. 그래서 세 번째 경기에서도 어느 정도 올인이 또 오겠다 예상을 했을 텐데 그래도 세 번째 경기가 되게 좀 어렵게 나왔어요. 그 경기에 대해서 좀 얘기해 주세요.
솔직히 제가 일꾼 한 마리 나올 때 아예 예측을 했는데 빌드를 그래서 맞춤식으로 빌드를 했는데 석희 형이 컨트롤을 너무 잘해서 솔직히 원래 이거 뚫릴 수가 없는 건데 너무 힘들게 막아서 질 줄 알았는데 살모사를 몰랐던 게 패배의 원인이었던 것 같아요. 석희 형이.
So he says, actually, when I saw what was coming my way, I felt like I should have been able to hold that really. No, I'm so sorry. I was supposed to not be able to defend. I thought I would actually lose because of what was coming my way, but because Stardust was doing so well. But I think because of my Vipers that eventually came out, that's what eventually finished that game for me, and that's why I was able to take game 3. Now Life is in the semifinals once more at Dreamhack Open Bucharest as he was last year. We'll see how he does. Guys, after this quick commercial break, we'll be back with the semifinals with Axiom's Impact and Evil Genius's Jadong.